Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the correct techniques to use during the reading section of the academic IELTS when you're taking the test. So again, remember that this material is coming from www.aehelp.com. For more practice materials, practice exams, lessons, as well as more videos, please visit us there and try our full course. Okay, so again, in this lesson, we will be talking about correct techniques during the reading section of the academic IELTS. Okay, so again, remember that the reading section in the academic IELTS has 3 passages. You have 1 hour total to read the 3 passages and answer the questions. One passage has anywhere from 500 to 700 words, which is about 1.5 to 1 3/4 pages. And then each passage has about 13 to 14 questions. Now, there are many different types of questions, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. The total number of questions are 40. So in the 1 hour, you need to read the 3 passages and answer the 40 questions. Okay, a lot of students complain that the 20 minutes for each passage is not enough time. This is not true, and I will show you that 20 minutes is actually quite a bit of time to read and answer questions when you have a strong or intermediate level in English. Now, a lot of teachers and courses for IELTS suggest to students that they should skim and scan for the questions and not even read the passage. I absolutely disagree with this idea. And I'm going to tell you why. So the people who make the IELTS, their goal is that the students who get a high score, so a score over 6.5, should be able to read the passage in the correct way and then answer the questions. So what they do is they use some interesting questions like true, false, not given, which makes it very difficult or even impossible to score a very high mark on the IELTS. Why? Because it's very difficult to skim and scan for answers that are not given or that are false according to the passage. Now, of course, as we've discussed in the key strategies, another reason that this is difficult is because of paraphrasing. So most of the answers in the passage, especially key words, are paraphrased. So you're not going to see the same word in the passage as the question. Maybe for some of the really easy questions, a few of them, but most of the questions will be paraphrased using synonyms, antonyms and negatives, grammar, expressions, phrasal verbs, and so on. And you just simply cannot skim read for paraphrasing. So these kinds of techniques for the test maker, paraphrasing and including questions like true, false, not given, multiple choice, and other ones that have extra or false information, make it very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get a high score with skimming and scanning. So it's strange, but my first advice to all of you is please don't skim and scan if you want to get 6.5, 7 or higher on the academic IELTS. You need to use different techniques, and I'm going to show you those techniques, okay? So the first point here is do not skim and scan for answers to questions if you want to get a score over 6 or 6.5. Okay, so again, skimming and scanning is not the right way to get a high score. So the question here is, what is the right way to get a high score, and what is a good way to finish the passages on time? I'm going to explain that to you next using a passage from AE Help's Academic IELTS curriculum book. All right, let's have a look at that. All right, so here we are looking at reading passage 1 from test 2 of the curriculum book, and the title is Tristan da Cunha, an Island of Remote Curiosity. So the first step when you get to the reading section of the academic IELTS is look at the title of the passage. A lot of students ignore the title. They think they're saving time by ignoring the title. Again, this is not true. The title of a passage or any story gives a general idea of the information that will be discussed, and these passages are written by experts, so the titles usually include quite a bit of information about what is written about in the passage. So again, step 1 is to read the title carefully, try to understand the title, and then in your mind ask yourself the 3 important questions of critical thinking of what, why, how. Again, when you practice this, you can be very fast with it, and this should only take you about maybe 20 seconds. Okay, so now let's read the passage. Try to read along with the British speaker. And again, when you hear the reader here, just remember that she's actually reading a little bit faster than you need to. So you can even be a little bit slower than her speed during the exam. All right, let's read and listen.
Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the South Pacific Ocean, formed by volcanic activity and part of the British Overseas Territory, called St. Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth. Because of its extreme isolation and small population, Tristan da Cunha is a fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics. The island was first discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer named Tristão da Cunha, who named the island after himself. The name of the island was later anglicised by the inhabitants into Tristan da Cunha. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. They used it as a marine military base for a number of decades in the 19th century, before it fell into disuse after the construction of the Suez Canal. The Second World War, however, brought renewed purpose to the island. It was used as a top-secret British naval station, codenamed HMS Atlantic Isle. The purpose of the station was to monitor the waters for German U-boats. According to a recent census, the island has a population of just 263 people, who mainly reside in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It is thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Because the reproduction pool is so small, the residents of the island suffer from a number of medical disorders. There is rampant asthma on the island, which is thought to be a result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. Based on the endemic asthma afflicting inhabitants of the island today, it is thought that there is a genetic underpinning for the condition. Further evidence comes from islanders commonly suffering from glaucoma, a degenerative eye condition, which, left untreated, can result in blindness. There are just 8 surnames among the 263 residents of Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to the 8 original male ancestors. Since there is almost no emigration to the island, the surnames are kept intact for many generations. Education on the island is very limited. Children only attend school until the age of 15, with the option of taking the British Standardised Test for secondary school graduates once they have completed schooling. As a consequence of the low quality of education, standardised test scores are generally very poor. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken amongst its natives is very different from that spoken of the rest of the world. Arguably, one of the most interesting facts about Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. For example, the newspaper, the Tristan Times, could be purchased for 4 big potatoes. Today, Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound as its currency, which is odd because neighbouring St Helena, 2,173 kilometres away, of which Tristan da Cunha shares its status as a British overseas territory, uses the St Helena pound and not the British pound. Since Tristan da Cunha was formed by volcanic activity and the volcano which formed it is still active, the inhabitants of the island live in constant danger of volcanic eruption. The last such eruption occurred as recently as 1961, when all of the islanders had to be evacuated to England. While some communities around the world participate in fire, earthquake or tornado drills, the residents of Tristan da Cunha participate in evacuation drills, where they practice the protocol for evacuation of the island in case of volcanic eruption. The Tristan economy is built mainly upon farming. All land is owned by the community. That is to say, there is no individual land ownership. Another significant part of the economy is the exportation of crayfish and lobster, mainly to Japan and the United States. A fire that occurred in 2008 greatly affected both the domestic and export economies. Tristanians are fiercely proud and independent people. Even when given the choice to stay in England after exile due to the volcanic eruption, almost every resident returned to the island.
All right, so now that we have read the passage and hopefully we have at least a 60 to 70% understanding of the information contained in the passage, we're ready for step 4, which is of course answering the questions. So here you're putting your answers directly into the answer booklet. Make sure to pay attention to your spelling if you're writing words. What's really key here is that you should be able to answer half of the questions without looking back at the passage, okay? So again, you shouldn't be searching for each answer in the passage, and I promise you that if you practice this at home and you make yourself try to answer the questions without searching and without looking back, you will be able to get about half of them in this way. All right, so step 4 is answering questions. So to watch the rest of this video and for more practice materials like this, as well as interactive lessons, please visit us at www.aehelp.com. If you have any questions, just let us know.